Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick flipped a seat from Democrat to Republican when he was elected last year. He held several positions in President George W. Bush's administration after receiving a Bronze Star for his Army service during the Gulf War. He went on to a business career after leaving the White House, including a job as CEO of the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates. He spoke recently about the then pending Trump tariffs, his relationship with Pennsylvania's senior Senator, Democrat John Fetterman, and more. Is the whole conversation here. It's too long to get it all into the regular weekday podcast and radio show. Thanks for listening and following us if you do. Now, Senator Dave McCormick on the Fox News Rundown Extra. Okay, I guess we're ready. Senator Dave McCormick, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on the Fox News Rundown.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's a big week for politics and maybe the economy. These special elections in Wisconsin and Florida and these new tariffs. Now, you were a businessman before you came to the Senate. Do you have thoughts on tariffs and the idea of short-term pain for long-term gain?
Yeah. Well, in general, I've talked to a lot of business leaders, as you can imagine, about this. And I want to start with the tariffs are creating volatility, in part anxiety, because there's uncertainty. Mm-hmm. But you have to look at the big picture. There's a lot of certainty that these tariffs are coming into. Number one, we're headed into probably the biggest deregulation period since Ronald Reagan in 1981. Incredible. Two, we're unlocking energy and energy dominance, which is going to change our economic outlook in significant ways. Three, we're going to get the tax bill either extended or made permanent. I suspect made permanent, which is a critical part of certainty. And then finally, we have over $2 trillion of new investment that's already been committed over the last couple months. That's the context. And then the tariffs do create uncertainty. I'm in favor of doing this in the sense that it's necessary to make sure American workers are getting a fair deal. We've been getting an unfair deal for many, many years. And that's why reciprocal tariffs, which are targeted on places where the countries we trade with are putting in non-tariff barriers or unfair trade practices, is where I think we're going to have the biggest benefit. We'll learn a lot more in the next couple of days, obviously.
So what do you tell constituents who, let's say inflation goes up, let's say there's stagflation where the economy is not growing but prices are going up. What do you tell them that might be unhappy about that for the next weeks, months?
Well, the way I think about the economy, it's kind of like a big aircraft carrier, and you got 5 or 6 different dials, right? For example, if you're cutting the cost of government significant, that's deflationary, right? If you are able to lower interest rates, that's inflationary. You're trying to find the right balancing act. So this is just one of many measures. President's a business guy. He's going to continue to adjust as he gets feedback from the economy. But I do think the idea of taking some pain in terms of potential increase in prices in certain areas to ensure fairness for the American worker, which is going to create great paying jobs and be a stimulant to our economy, I think that's a trade-off worth taking as long as we can keep it focused on the areas where we have unfair trade barriers.
Speaking of getting that tax bill passed, there are a couple special elections in Florida. There are 2 vacancies with the loss of 2 Democrats. Let's say things tighten up. Is there pressure, especially with that slim majority in the House, is there pressure to get things done just as soon as possible?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We ran. President Trump ran. I ran. We won on a mandate for change. Now, I think it's fair to say in the history of new presidents, certainly in my lifetime, there's never been a flurry of activity like we've seen under President Trump to deregulate energy and unlock our economy and close the border and so forth. On the economy and the inflation challenge that was left by President Biden, it's going to take a little bit to get that under control. But we've got a set of promises. We got to deliver change. We have the majority in the House, Senate, and the White House, obviously. That gives us a lot of opportunity under reconciliation to make big changes. And we shouldn't take anything for granted. We have the euphoria of November, but man, we got to bear down and deliver on the promises. I know I've spoken literally in the last week with President Trump about it. I know he feels that sense of urgency. We all do.
Hey, I'm Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. I hope you will join me every Tuesday and Thursday as we navigate life together and hopefully find ourselves a little bit better on the other side.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
You were supposed to have this event with fellow Pennsylvanian, John Fetterman, your colleague, a Democrat in the Senate. What do you make of the new friends and enemies he's been making lately? New friends on the right, new enemies on the left. I mean, is he just a call it as he sees it guy, or is there doesn't seem to be a lot of strategizing with a guy like that?
Well, I think and both parties have its set of extremists, but there is a set of, I think, lunatics on the left that are very hard for any Democratic politician to accommodate. I think in Senator Fetterman's case, listen, he and I sat down. We disagree on a lot. Yeah. But we agree on a lot. And we are in a state where we have to find common ground to get things done for our for fellow Pennsylvanians. He and I have found common ground on anti-Semitism, on Israel, on protecting mushroom farmers in Chester County, on benefits for the bereaved of killed soldiers, for a fentanyl bill. So we're trying to do things on behalf of Pennsylvania. And the thing I could say about Senator Fetterman, and I genuinely believe this, it's the best thing I could say about any politician, I believe he's completely authentic. I think he's supporting the things he believes in, and I think he's also a savvy politician. I think he sees that his party is wildly out of step. But I also think he's very authentic, and I think he's going to be a good partner to work with on key things.